Hey, this is Tim with Expert Power Wash. Wanted to show you this brand new 8-foot skid. So this one is actually going out to Florida for Sammy. Sammy's driving up and is going to drive this thing back. We do privately transport these. So if this is something that you want, you live in Virginia, Ohio, wherever it may be in the United States, we can private transport these. And there's a lot of special savings and deals that you can get by going that route. We'll talk about it more on the phone if you're interested in going that route. But let's jump into some of the details of this skid. So one of the biggest things on this skid here is the amount of bed space. I see people put bars across here and they build up stuff, and it makes it really nice to work off of until you have to change out a pump, or you have to change the oil or the gear oil, whatever it may be. You have a leak, you have to crawl in here. We had one guy come into the shop and I actually had to get a ladder and climb over the top of it to get in because he had some pump issues going on. So over the years of running these things and just looking at the most efficient way to build these and work on them and maintenance them, long term, there's a certain way that these things need to be built so they're able to be used out in the field more efficiently. So like I said, a ton of bed space, top of the line plumbing. We have a 1-inch drain here, high grade. This is a Schedule 80 ball valve. We have the clamps there that come out of the UK. I'll show you those when we get a little bit closer around to the other side for the plumbing. This is our actual fuel tank. This is our slim aluminum fuel tank. Super high quality. This is about 13 gallons. So you're going to run more than a day on that amount of fuel. Just a couple other things here to show you. We're using stainless steel plugs here. This is a brass barb. This is high-end fill hose. We're not using anything cheap on everything that we do. This is a rollover valve. In the past, I've seen people use like another fuel barb, and they'll put like a little lead hose that goes down, because this thing has a fuel pump and it pulls fuel. And if you have to vent the tank, and if you don't vent the tank properly, your pressure washer's not going to run. But anyways, I'm getting into the weeds on that. You have to have a rollover valve. It has a little ball in it, so when the gas splashes up, it stops it from leaking out. But when it's resting, the ball is sitting down and allows it to pull air. So I know I went way overboard on explaining that. But that one little piece is like 30 bucks. If I was to put another 1/4-inch barb in there, these are like $5. There's all kinds of places to cut corners when we build these things, and we would just rather build them right. If it costs a couple bucks more to do it right, then that's what we're going to do. Let's talk about the pressure washer here. This is our custom built pressure washer. Super thick. You can see the thickness here on the frame. This is a really thick aluminum frame base that the pressure washer is built on. This, you have a Honda exhaust. So to kind of give you an example, I don't know if we have one sitting around. There's one in the back, but usually manufacturers won't put a Honda exhaust on there because it costs more. It's said that you actually get a horsepower more if you use a Honda one. I don't know if that's true or not, but they do run slightly different with an authentic Honda exhaust on there. So you got that on there. Gear drive unit, the tried and true TSF 2021 pump. This is made by General. This is about as top of the line as you can get. Looking at the back side here, this is a 1/2-inch block mounted. So this is a 1/2-inch line going to a block mounted pulser unloader. We were using K7s on here, and they're great. The pulsers are just a little bit better, and you can see it's 1/2-inch going in and out, so you got way better flow. It just makes the machine work a little bit better. So of course, the upgraded recharging system. So this has a recharging system that will actually recharge the battery that's back here in the box. So if you're running a soft wash system, one of the good things about that is you don't have to charge your battery as often as long as you're using a pressure washer. So let's talk about the soft wash system. So this features our Pro Mixer XL. We do sell these online if this is something, if you guys are wanting to kind of put together some of your own builds. A lot of these components, if you go to pressurewashingskids.com, we do sell this stuff. But if you're wanting us to do a full build for you, this would be what we would be using on the build. Excuse me. 3/4 valves on the bleach and the water. Then of course 1/2-inch here. We've upgraded all of the check valves on here. So these are Hastelloy. And if you look at the difference between these Hastelloy and the stainless ones, they look exactly the same. So the bodies are the same. You want to make sure if you are buying something like this, it is a Hastelloy, or you're changing these out to Hastelloy. They'll work a little bit, they'll last a little bit longer. These are Chemline metering valves, pretty much top of the line that you can get. We have a rinse out valve system right here. This allows you to be able to pull water in through the bleach line here, and that keeps this system completely rinsed out. Of course, all of our Tiger Flex hose, super nice crush-proof hose, and this is going back to a dual control Remco pump. I don't know if you can get in there and see that. We're using all stainless steel hardware on these. We've upgraded everything now from 304 to 316. These are on a peg system. So you can see there's a little nut right there. This is a nylon lock nut, and then we have a flange nut here. So what that allows you to do, excuse me, you're gonna hear the cough. We're probably not gonna edit this video. But what this allows you to do is to quickly pull this off as soon as it disengages from the rubber. And then you have an SAE plug. You pull this off and you can switch this thing out like less than 5 minutes. These connections are all on quick connects. We have our super high quality marine grade pump. Let's click that on real quick. So this is super heavy duty. All the screws in it are all stainless. These are on plate systems. If you're looking for just this pump, like I said with the mixer, we sell just the pump, plate mounted. We have a bunch of those in stock if you're looking for something. It doesn't just stop there. You know, the wiring, even the heat shrink that's being used, there's cheaper Amazon versions of this. We use an actual 3M heat shrink that has gluing inside. So as soon as you run the heat gun on this stuff, it actually glues it, seals it. That's going to make it more chemical resistant, more water resistant, and you're not, less likely to have wiring issues. So this is all 100% marine grade USA sourced wire. Something with the wiring that we found out some years back is if you use the cheaper wire, it actually has filler material in it. So the filler material doesn't conduct as well as like a pure copper strand. So little tip there, if you guys are new to the industry or new to wiring, good wiring does matter, and it does conduct better. You're going to be less likely to have issues with your equipment. All right, 7-gallon soap tank. Our soap that we use is very, very concentrated. So a 7-gallon soap tank can even last you, probably up to a week, depending on how you're running the soap there on your metering valve. But we use a really high concentrate. When we turn this on, we're just off of the off position. So right around in there is how we personally run our soap valves with our concentrated soap. If you have questions about that, I can explain more about that when we jump on a call. This is our EPW box. So looking in here, there's going to be a few things that Sammy's getting. Of course, his Flow Pro stuff. We'll go over that as we get on to the other side. Judd with Flow Pro. One of the cool things in here, he actually puts his own cell phone number. It's all wrapped up in the information here, but he actually puts his cell phone number, and the support is just absolutely amazing. This right here, you got a little bag to put your remotes in so you can keep your remotes dry. We have a soft wash percent guide here that we put on the boxes, so that helps you have a general understanding of where you need to set your soap dial. So I'll give you a quick preview of how that works. So say we were cleaning some vinyl, you're about a 1%. Come on over here to the mixing system, and you'd be bumping this to about 1. So right there would be a good average setting for cleaning vinyl. You could pop it up to a 1.5 if you want, but as you use these things, you're going to find that kind of that sweet spot for you. So like I said, this is just a guide. This will get you rolling. You're going to be able to clean what it says you can clean. Like right here, it says asphalt shingle roofs. Turn this thing all the way to 6, and that's the position I have it in now, and that's generally what you want to use for cleaning roofs. Just looking a little bit more in this battery box, you can see the way that we have everything ran here. Everything is really nice. You can see the quality of the wiring. We even ground the battery. So this is a 6-gauge. Everything's upgraded. The lugs, that's that 3M heat shrink. And then up on the top here, this took us a while to find these, but this is an actual USA-made fusible link in here, and it has the Bussmann fuse. So if anybody's familiar with those, there's a lot of Chinese fuses and things floating around. So even down to the fuse, something that might be a 30-cent part on eBay. We've had too many issues with things in the past. Fuses popping prematurely, or when you're mass producing Chinese fuses, you're going to come across some that are not as good as others. So again, down to the fuse, all that wiring stuff matters. You wouldn't want to upgrade everything on your wiring. Use a 3M heat shrink, and then cheap out on your fusible link and your fuse. Going around to the back here, well, let's talk about the plumbing. So we have these uniseals. The hoses flow straight through, and I don't know if you can get a shot in there. You can kind of see how the hoses flow straight through, and then there is slotted PVC filters in the bottom with a little piece of PVC that holds it down towards the bottom of the tank. One little tip I'll give you guys, if you're watching this video and you're thinking about building something like this, do not use any hose clamps, no metal, no nothing inside these tanks. The bleach will corrode it, even if it's stainless. Right here, this is the bypass. So when you're off the gun of the pressure washer is going to bypass back to the tank. This is going to keep the system cool. So you have a large circulation from the pressure washer all the way in through the buffer tank. If you look at this 90 right here, this is a sweeping 90. So you can see how it starts at the 3/8, and we do these in 3/8 and ½ inch depending on the pressure washer. But it starts at the 3/8 here, and then it gets into a bigger chamber, and then it sweeps directly down into that. And then this is all banjo, bulkheads, everything that we use here, high quality banjo stuff. There's even cheaper knockoff banjo stuff out there, so you gotta be really careful. Tanks have vents in them. So over here, under here is a Hudson float valve. So as the water fills in the tank, it's gonna hit the bottom of that Hudson float valve, and it's gonna turn off the water. This is part of the downstream system. So this is gonna be the control box, and then the downstream, this right here is going to go to the injector, and then we have the top hose going into the bleach, and then the bottom hose going into the water. So what this allows you to do is you turn this way, you're gonna pull chem with your downstream system on. With your downstream system still on, turn that down to water, and then you're able to have your downstream system on, but you're rinsing it out. So when you're not using it, just put it right there in the middle. All this stuff here, this is all Curitech polybraid stuff. So we've always talked about, we've used Curitech in other areas like different hoses, soft wash hose, and this is Curitech here. But all of our polybraid stuff now is also Curitech. So really high quality stuff. This isn't going to be what you're going to find on the shelf at Home Depot. Talk about hose reels. So this is a full frame aluminum hose reel. Everything about these, if you scroll over to the top there and you show them the top shelf, this is what we're going to for manual reels. We have some electrics coming out in 2025, but you can see we've invested heavily into these new expert reels. We got a lot in stock. Like I said, full frame aluminum. What makes these a little bit different than some of the other ones out there is these have 316 stainless steel. So if you look at this manifold, which is the pipe that runs through here, if you're using like a regular steel manifold that you find in some of the cheaper reels, I won't mention the names, but there's a bunch out there. And if you're new and getting into this industry and you're anchored by a price and you're gonna buy one of those cheaper reels, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to replace that thing in a year or two, as you should have just bought something that was meant for the application that you were using it for. So without going super deep into the weeds, 316 stainless steel manifolds. Again, that's going to be the chamber that the liquids flow through. And then even these little brackets, these are all 316. The handle, the swivel over here. So this is the swivel. So as the hose turns, you have a greasable fitting there. Even the brackets on this side, this piece, that the hose reel lock, all 316 stainless steel, super high quality. The way that these are built, these are way beefier than the older style if you're comparing them to like a Titan. We still like the Titans, but for a manual reel, you're not going to beat these. So 100 feet of 3/4 garden hose. We like this Flexzilla. We've tested a lot of different things over the years, and we've always landed back at this stuff. Great hose. It's tried and true. So 100 feet of the 3/4 inner diameter. When you're using a larger hose, you're able to flow liquids into the tanks a little bit faster. Going down over to this hose reel, so you notice that's a 12-inch, and what I mean by 12-inch, it's the distance between the two sides of the drum there. This one being an 18-inch. This has 200 feet of Fierce Jet. Got a little tickle in my throat. This is really good hose. We've been using this hose for a very, very long time. This has a burst rate of over 10,000 PSI. It's just really good stuff. You want a gray non-marking because as you pull it across driveways and sidewalks, if you're using like a black hose or a colored hose, you're going to see those marks on the concrete. So this is really smooth jacket, really nice stuff. It's a little bit lighter than some of the other stuff, but it's higher rated as far as a PSI rating. It's rated at 4,200 instead of the normal 4,000. This can be used for hot water as well. So if you're wanting to get some hose like this, or you're thinking about putting hot water or something like that on the skid, this will work for that. All right, going over to the soft wash hose. This is another 18-inch hose reel. It's the same build quality. All of these are the same, 316 stainless steel, internals full frame aluminum. This has 200 feet of soft wash hose. Couple little upgrades you'll notice about these is we have crimped ends on here. We have the ST510 gun. This is stainless steel in here, and then of course we have a J-rod. So that's going to be a 0 degree, 15 degree, 25 degree, and 40 degree. And that's just going to be the spray pattern. Obviously a 0 degree would be a straight shot, and then 15, 25, and then like a 40. So overall, really nice system. This is really nice, flexible soft wash hose. This is 1/2 inch, 200 feet, if I didn't say that already. And then going on over to the back, or the front part of the skid, whatever you want to call it. This is a surface cleaner rack. This is locking, so this is custom built aluminum, really thick stuff. You have a stainless steel locking mechanism here. I can open it up. So this is where you'll put like your whisper wash, like if you get a shot of the wall over there, we have a couple different ones. We have a clear one, that's a limited edition, the blue, and then we have the extreme, which is an aluminum deck surface cleaner. That's our top choice. We only build the surface cleaner racks for a whisper wash. Your whisper wash fits perfectly in there, and then I'll show you another thing with this rack is you have about 16 inches of storage space up here. It's going to be hard to get a shot, but there's a little divider because the skid's a little bit longer than the length of a surface cleaner. So you can put extra hose. Pressure washer hose fits really well in here. You can put an extra 100-footer in there, or you can put extra garden hose in there, or maybe you just want to put a toolbox in there. So really nice storage area there. Put my key back in here so I don't lose it. So yeah, that's the skid. If you guys are interested in something like this, I'll put my contact information down below. You can go to our website, pressurewashingskids.com. You can call us 503-403-6185. Of course, I'll have that information down below. But if you're wanting something like this, let us know. Get on the build schedule and we'll get you hooked up.